Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Titli and you're watching Titli. I hope you all are doing okay and I hope you all are safe, sound and healthy. Today's video is about the book tag that I have been seeing a lot in the Bookstagram community as well as BookTube community. I think you have already read the title of the video, and that is Mid-Year Book Freakout Tag. Yes, it's a long name and I don't know who started this tag and I'm not sure. I saw this one on Books with Leo, so I will be putting the link of our video in my description box, so go and check our video. And this video I have been planning to do, but in some other way, because I was thinking to do a 6-month wrap up, but then I saw this is a trending topic that is going on and it's the same thing, just different names, so I jumped on. Now what is this tag is about? The Mid-Year Book Freakout tag is a tag about all the books that I have read or you have read in this past 6 months, that is from January 2020 to July 2020 ending. And we talk about these books that we have read, the books that you like, the books you hated, and the books you were okay with. So yes, this is a tag where I'm going to talk about all the books that I have read, liked, disliked or DNF'd. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now coming to the point, this year I haven't read much books. So my goal for Goodreads is 50 books this year. I actually keep 50 books every year because that's my limit. I cannot read hundreds and 200 books in a year. I don't know how people do that. But I am very much content with my level of 50 books, and that too I struggle at times because of the other things I have to do. Also, I'm a very slow reader. And this year I have 50, so by that calculation I should have read 25 books by July, but me being me, I have been only able to read only 19 books. Yes, I am 6 books behind in my book challenge, but don't worry, I have 6 more months to go and every year I somehow hustle through it, and this year also I'm gonna do that. So the books that I have read, some of them are the books that I really liked and loved, and there are books that I was okay with. Yeah, it was good, I read it and I will forget it. And there are books that I do not want to see again in near future. So yes, there is 3 category of the books, but I will try to name the books as I have read in that chronological order, but also I'm going to say which book I love, which book I was okay with, and the book that I hated. So yes, on to with the list. The first book that I read this year is The Bipedal House by Agatha Christie. I wanted to start my year with a book that I am comfortable with, and I knew that this book is going to be good. And I'm a huge fan of Agatha Christie, so this book is something that I knew is in my comfort zone and I knew will be great, and it was great. Bipedal House is an amazing story that revolves around a house, as the name says, and a murder that happens in the house. And the story is amazing, the ending is amazing, just like any of our books. So yes, this book is something that I loved. The second book that I read was a YA novel, and that is The Afterlife of Holly Chase. Holly Chase is a girl who was born and brought up in a very rich family. Her parents are celebrities and she was a brat. But her life suddenly ends when she meets with an accident, and then she reaches her afterlife where she starts to realize the things she has done in her life and the things she should have done differently. And this whole book is actually somehow inspiration taken from the Christmas Carol, so you get a lots of reference of that book as well. So yeah, I love this one as well. So this was a 4-star read. Yes. The third book I read was The Achievement Habit by Bernard Roth. This book I read because I needed motivation, and when I read this one, I liked it, sort of. I know this is a very famous book and everything, but I don't know, I don't think I really resonated with it much. But yeah, it's a good book, so I gave it about 3 out of 5 stars. And if you want to read it, you can go and read it. But I don't think this is a book I am gonna read again. So this is a okayish book for me. And that's my third read of the year. The fourth book on my list is a YA novel that I loved so much, and I would suggest you all to read it. And this book is about a girl who is introvert and likes to do drawings and is actually secretly famous. Nobody knows but her brothers, and she writes novels, fan fiction under a secret name, Lady Constellation. And I think by this time you have got it what book I'm talking about. I'm talking about Eliza and her monster. This book is also a YA novel that talks about the mental health. So I would suggest go and read this one. I loved this book, and this book is something I might read again in future. The fifth book on my list is again a Agatha Christie special, and that is Cards on the Table. This book is quite short in comparison to the previous book I read of Agatha Christie. This book is also amazing novel, amazing murder mystery, where a murder happens in the cards party where people were playing cards, and the host actually dies there. How he dies, who killed him, is all the story that's going to reveal. So this is also an amazing murder novel. So go and read it if you're looking for books that has good crime and good thrill. The sixth book of my list is a book that a children's book, like seriously a children's book, and that is The Curse of the WellWinner. This is actually about two protagonists who are actually animals, a iguana and a dragon. I don't remember, I read it so far back. This is also a comic type of book where this dragon and this iguana who goes to school, who were attacked by a very, very evil hot dog sausage. Yes, that crazy this book is, and this book is okayish. I started reading it because this was something very interesting concept that I felt. So when I read it and I realized this is actually for children, I cannot just go through this. The seventh book on my list is a fantasy novel series I have been seeing for a long time, and it took me quite a while to get hold of it, and that is An Amber in the Ashes. This book is quite nice, and it explores with this girl and his brother who were actually got separated since the kingdom comes and attacks them, and so on the story builds. This book was okay. I cannot say this book is amazing or something because I'm a huge fantasy novel nerd. But this book somehow didn't work for me because I felt the main protagonist was, how would I say, very weak or very fragile in that sense. So I don't see myself going through this huge book again ever. So I did not read the rest of the two because it wasn't worth it for me, because I did not like it, and I do not continue with the book even though it's a series if I do not like them. The eighth book on my list is also a children's book. I don't know why I'm reading so many children's books, but yes, I think it's the influence of my students. It's all of my students' influence. I'm reading this many children's book, and the book that I'm talking about is Get Into Gear Stilton, and this is a Domino Stilton book. Again, it was fun, but it has nothing. Like, if you're a child, you're reading it, they're gonna enjoy that one. But for a grown-ass girl like me, should I call myself girl anymore? Like, yeah, for me, it wasn't good. Like, yeah, it was alright for children. So for children, it might be 5 out of 5 star. For me, it was 2 out of 5 star. The ninth book that I read is another YA novel, and this story is so beautiful, and I want everyone to sit down and read together, and that is Aristotle and Dante Discovers the Secrets of the Universe. Long name. So I love this story. This is the story about these two boys who became friends and so on. The story goes. Such a beautiful novel and I loved it so much. This is also a LGBTQ read, and both the protagonists Ari and Dante are so amazing characters, and they're just so lovable. So I think this is a highly recommended book and I will read this again for sure. I did not have the copy of the book, so someday I will get the copy of the book and that's when I'm gonna read it, this one. And this is a full 5 on 5 star read. So Siege and Storm is the second book of the Shadow and Bone trilogy. So I love Shadow and Bone, like seriously I love Shadow and Bone, and I think it's such an amazing book. In the Shadow and Bone I loved Eleanor, and I think I am guilty of this, but I love Darkling. Like he was such an amazing character, and even though he's a villain and everything, I don't care. I loved him, and that was an amazing book. And in the second book, I think the amazingness of the first book, like the Shadow and book, kind of got diminished. It's not bad, like I wouldn't say it's bad, but it was okay. It's like, yeah, it's like chalta hai type of books. Like you read it and you're like, yeah, okay, it's happening. And on to the third book, I have to read the third book, and I'm still interested about the third book. So I would say that second book is not that bad, but it was okay. It's kind of like a bridge book for me. The 11th book that I read this year is a book that is so beautiful and I loved it, and it is one of the most favorite topic of mine, of the genre of mine, and that is mythology. And the book I'm talking about is Cersei. Now I'm not going to talk much about this book on this one. This is about Cersei, the witch, the first witch actually, kind of, according to them, because she was the first of her kind, then followed by her siblings, and the story goes on like that, how she was banished from her place because of her powers, because Zeus and her father Helios was scared of her powers and doesn't know her extent, and story goes with that. I have done a proper review of this book. I will put that in the iCard, so go and check my review. So yes, this is a book that is amazing, and I would suggest to go and read it if you love reading mythology. The 12th book that I read this year is, I don't think I would even need to say much, and that is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This is a 800 pages of book. Yes, you can see it right here. So yes, it's a huge and the most fattiest book of the whole Harry Potter series, but it took me so much less time than Cersei even. So yeah, I think when you love something, it just doesn't take that much of time, or time passes so fast that you don't even notice. I loved it. I don't have any other adjectives to add. So yeah, you got it. It's a 5 on 5 star for Harry Potter's 5th book. This year's 13th book that I read is a book that I have anticipated for so many days, but when I read it, it was okayish. The book is The Night Circus, and you can see it over here. So Night Circus is a story about this amazing circus that happens and opens at midnight only, but there is also something else that happens in between. That is, it is actually battleground for 2 magicians. Yes, that is the main plot, and I have also done a proper review as well as a readathon of this book, so I will put in the iCard. Go and check it. I have read it and it was okayish, and I don't think I would be picking that up. So this was like 3.5 out of 5 stars kind of rate. The 14th book that I read is The Tattooist of Auschwitz, and I loved this one. This is actually, I have said this before and before, even on my previous videos, that the books that are based on during that time, the World War II, kind of attracts me so much. And while I read this book, this is actually a true story of a man who survived the Holocaust, who survived the gas chamber and found love there, even managed to get reunited with the woman of his love and spent life with her. So this is an amazing, heart-touching story. I have done a proper review again. So yes, go and check it. The link will be here as well as in the description box below. Go and check them. Is Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. This book is about mental health, no doubt. And I read it during the mental health reading time also, which I didn't know, but it aligned somehow. And this story is so beautiful, so amazing. Like, I will read it again. Eleanor is so beautiful character, and I loved it. Her complexities, her little curiosity, and her ignorance of the life she could have lived. So this was a perfect book, and again I will put the link in the description box below and the iCard. Go and check my proper review. The 16th book of my list is a short story, and that is Kumari Devi. This is a story about a woman who has been worshipped in her place in Nepal, but again forced to live a life of a maid. Why and how the story reveals. This is an amazing story. Go and read it. Short story, so it would even take an hour to complete this one. Go and read it. The next book, the 17th book of my list, is Blous by Perumal Murugan. This is a story about a woman who was forced to wear blouse by her family. In the village area, they don't actually wear blouse, because even in the past, if you see, blouse was not in the culture. So yeah, that's kind of that, but the story has also a deeper meaning within it. I would suggest go and read it. This is also a very short read, won't take much of a time. The 18th book of my list is a book that I don't want to read ever. Like, seriously, I even contemplate the time that I have invested in this book. Like, seriously, why would anyone read this book? So yes, I am going to make a separate video for this one, but let me tell you about this book. This is a Children of Virtue and Vengeance. This is the second book of Children of Blood and Bone series, and this book was a disaster. At that 409 pages of disaster. I don't want to say much more, and this book is the reason why I am stuck at just 19 books. It took me so much time to finish, and it actually gave me physical pain. Like, I was having headache while reading this book. So yes, I will be saying much more about this book on upcoming video. I am going to make a separate book review for this one. Please stay tuned, look out. If you haven't subscribed, then subscribe and hit the bell icon, so every time I come with a new video, you get notified. Now coming to the 19th book, and that is the last book of today's mid-year freak out book tag list, and that is Ghachar Ghachar. Now this book is a complete delight. I love this book. Like, this is 110 pages worth long book, and this book is a masterpiece. Like, no doubt that this has been famous for 25 years, and this should be, because the story is so much beautiful, and the ending is an open end, and I love such books where the ending and the ending interpretation is actually left to the reader, so there is a lot of room for us to discover what actually happened. So yes, this is a book that I really liked, and that's my ending of mid-year book freak out tag, and I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Please share this video with your friends. Comment down below if you have read any of this book, or how many books you have read so far this year. And I hope you all stay fine and safe, and until then, bye bye.